Hello, Child here. He calls me his child, Dusty Rose. Double whammy time! The Book of the Dun Cow, The Book of Sorrows, by Walter Wangerin Jr., Books 1 and 2. In brief, Walter Wangerin's profound fantasy concerns a time when the sun turned around the earth and the animals could speak, when Chanticleer the rooster ruled over a more or less peaceful kingdom. What the animals did not know was that they were the keepers of Worm, monster of evil long imprisoned beneath the earth. And Worm, sub terra, was breaking free. Its sequel goes, in this absorbing, highly original fantasy, Chanticleer, Pertolote, and the other familiar characters of the coup struggle to piece together their shattered lives in the aftermath of the terrible conflict with the dreaded Worm. But their respite is short-lived. Into this struggling community, Worm once again insinuates himself, with dire consequences for all. The reappearance of the dog Mundo Cani unveils a darker mystery yet, and the threat of a final horror when evil yields up its most devastating secrets. So a long time ago, when I was just a wee lass, I had a pen pal with whom I traded books. And one day, this came in the mail to me. And I absolutely loved it. And I read it over and over. And then I found out there was a sequel and I flipped my lid. I not only read this to myself, I started reading them aloud to people, anybody who would listen to me. And then I started developing voices because the characters were just so vibrant that they couldn't not have voices. You know, they were clearly in my head. Like, I don't really often, I don't get the voice thing, I just get the imagery thing, but it's like, oh, clearly, Chanticleer's a little shrieky and shrill, and he talks very stridently. And John Wesley Weasel slams his words end to end to end to end to end. And Pertolote just has this calm, quiet, soothing voice. Even when she's upset, she talks a little bit like this. Mundo Cani is sobbing no matter what he says! It was so clear to me. I read this to my family members, I read this to my roommates, I read this to my husband. But I read these books so many times, I was actually starting to get tired of reading them over and over, especially aloud. And so, in conjunction with a request that I read them again, I decided it's better to make a recording one last time, and then if anybody ever wants me to read it to them again, I send them the recording. I've been asked a lot, what are your favorite books, or your favorite, at least, novel? Well, in early life, all I did was read novels, so what are your favorite books means what are your favorite novels to me. And I couldn't answer for the longest time because I loved so many books. How could you possibly ask me that? But over time, I came to realize it's these two. The writing style is so beautiful. It's a liturgy. The guy who wrote this was a Lutheran pastor. And I can hear the liturgy in the way he constructs his sentences and paragraphs. Especially when I read it aloud, it's like a flow, almost a chant sometimes. He can make you laugh and cry with chickens as his main characters. This was a wonderful book because it was a wonderful story, a wonderful adventure. This was a wonderful book because it hit you hard and really made you think about a lot of things. I can't tell you what one thing it makes me think about. The evil that can be found inside of us. The corruption of good leadership, which is always possible. The concept of forgiveness in this book is so striking, so beautiful. I honestly think this book is his magnum opus. So what that means to me is that this book was mainly set up for this book. And that is why these are on my channel.